I was thinking about the case of Chase Hironimus, and I don't even want to dwell on this case very long. It makes me sick, to be perfectly honest. It makes me ill. This was a case of a boy named a 4-year-old boy, I believe at the time, named Chase Hironimus, whose parents were going through a divorce, and where there was some kind of previous agreement. I don't know, the boy wasn't circumcised, and there had been some previous agreement to circumcise him, and then it went to, and that was like in the divorce settlement, and then it went to court, and the father was this vindictive bastard, and the mother went on the run trying to save him, and this I don't know, they somehow managed to get a hold of him. And to make a long story short, I think by this time he was 5 years old, maybe still four. To make a long story short, this 4 or 5 year old, vocalizable, screaming, objecting, non-consenting boy was held down and forcibly circumcised. I mean, I don't know if you remember yourself at 4 or 5. I have vivid memories of being that age. I mean, I can't even imagine the terror and betrayal, just sheer terror that this boy must have felt, and continues to feel humiliation and terror. And that father and that judge, your names will be remembered. And once again, some sympathetic future government may come to power that would see fit to punish you severely. Anyway, I don't want to dwell on that particular part of the case very long. It actually keeps me up at night. It's kept me up at night. It has given me nightmares. I was thinking how a case like this could be avoided and could be made never to happen again. And it was around this time I was thinking about the curious case of Julian Assange sitting in the Ecuadorian embassy in London. Trying to avoid some spurious rape charges back in Sweden, I believe. I think he's native to Australia. And I'm sure at this point you can imagine where I'm going with this. What about if a parent is facing the threat of a partner? I mean, not just a court-ordered circumcision. This case was very strange. But what about cases where I believe in the United States of America, they will take one parent's consent and circumcise the child. So what if there is this big battle? Or, what if there's this battle between the parents, and the only way to avoid the one spouse sneaking away and having the kid circumcised is to essentially go on the lam yourself and become, a parental kidnapper. At which point you'd need to seek refuge. How about in a case like this, seeking refuge at the Dutch embassy, at the Danish embassy, at the Finnish embassy, maybe at the Russian embassy. And I choose some of these countries like Holland and Denmark and Finland because their medical associations at various times have expressed very, very harsh views on the topic of circumcision. I pick Russia, just sort of the political dialectic at the moment where they might be willing to, take the case. Or maybe an Eastern European embassy. They seem to have a very earthy view of things in general. I don't know, I'd avoid the English or Irish or Australian or Canadian embassy. You know, they don't see, you know, I mean, Canada still has a high circumcision rate. Australia has a circumcision rate. Britain has a low circumcision rate, but they're also one of the Anglophone countries that had circumcision in the past, and they're also there's a lot of, you know, the American government and the British government seem to be very close bedfellows, that it might not be a good idea. It might not be a good idea to go to the German embassy, given Germany's history on the issue. I mean, it was declared illegal by a court in Cologne in Germany, only to have it re-legalized by the Bundestag after heavy pressure from the religious lobby, the Jewish and Muslim lobby in that country. And given the history of the Second World War and whatnot, there's just so... the Germans, I don't think could resist the pressure. But yeah, the other European countries, you know, maybe Denmark. Denmark would be a good one. The Danish Royal Medical Society has had very hostile views towards circumcision in the past. Maybe Finland, maybe Holland, and again, maybe Russia, strictly on the basis of the political back and forth between them and the West. You know, maybe they'd be willing to take a parent and child on a basis like this. I can't hardly imagining these people turning them away, given how barbaric many of them probably feel circumcision is. I mean, who knows? They could give them citizenship and make them honorary diplomats and let them have diplomatic immunity and free passage out to the airport and off to Denmark, Finland, Holland, or Russia, or wherever. I think this is a powerful idea, that if this comes to a head and someone's able to contact, you know, Intactivists, it'd be like the Underground Railroad of circumcision and Intactivism, giving these people contacts at the embassy and helping them, you know, find their way there. We all need to be on the same page on this, so that we know if a mother or father contacts and says, you know, my spouse is going to do this, or there's already a standing court order. What can I do? We can tell them the address of an embassy that's waiting for them. I don't know whether we should approach embassies now with regard to this issue, or maybe just have all of us on the same page and then approach the embassy at the last minute, and sort of the last minute pressure would be enough to really, you know, say, okay, we'll take these people. But this could be a really good thing. The Intactivist Underground Railroad. Tell all your Intactivist friends about it. Tell me what you think in the comments section. Take care. Bye-bye.